BRUCAST is back, baby.
This BRUCAST episode is brought to you by the BRUCAST Store. Explore a store filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with BRUCAST. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Visit now brew-cast.com/store. Link below.
Back with the fire, can't you see the flames? From Deutschland steps comes the BRUCAST name. Voices like thunder breaking all the chains. Unleash the fury like a runaway train.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to another BRUCAST episode. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please ring the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast recommends to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. BRUCAST also on Instagram, X, and TikTok, where I upload shorts with the highlights of the show. So follow now, BRUCAST on Instagram, X, and TikTok. Links in the description below.
Here we thrive, we survive!
Hey there, BRUCAST fans. Welcome back to another episode. You know what's up? I know what's up. It's time to talk about this month's giveaway. Yes, you guys keep liking, you guys keep subscribing, you guys keep commenting. We're gonna keep doing the giveaways. All you have to do, well, is like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna announce the winner of this month's giveaway tomorrow. Yeah, so stay tuned. Just tune in tomorrow. We're gonna announce who won. It's a worldwide giveaway, so no matter where you are in the world, we're gonna make sure to deliver this beautiful giveaway to you. So what is the giveaway? It's gonna be something from the BRUCAST store. Either a cap, either a t-shirt, either a mug. We need to promote the shop, the store. So stay tuned and good luck to everyone, and see you tomorrow on the special live stream of the giveaway. Subscribe. All right, so we have a very special guest today, and when I say very special, I mean very special because she got my name right. Everyone say hi, Bruce. It's like, you're Bruno, right? It's like, yes. Good energy. I have a good feeling about this one, guys. So please welcome Samantha.
Hello, Brew, not Bruce. We're not calling you Bruce here.
Not at all.
No, I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. What about we start with introductions? Who are you, Samantha? The public want to know.
Where to take this? Could go so many directions. I mean, I'm not just born, so I have much I can share. But I'll start with I was born in Los Angeles, California, and I've lived here the majority of my life. I've moved around quite a bit. I've lived in many different places in Southern California, Northern California, and then also in Oregon, which was lovely because you and I discussed forest trees before we started this. And that was one of my favorite places to be. I love trees. What can I say? And that's pretty much it as far as where I've resided. But had a very nice upbringing, I would say. Been through a lot of jobs, never been fired, but it gave me a lot of experience, a lot of life experience. I've learned from all types of people. Type A, I've learned from, and then the opposite too, people that just don't know what to do unless they're told. So I've had the full spectrum of experience, and it's been really amazing.
What kind of jobs did you have?
Sure. Well, one of my very first jobs actually was as a voiceover guest. I don't know if you know who Geraldo Rivera is.
Oh, that name rings a bell. What?
He was a famous American. He was like a Jerry Springer or like an Oprah, but he was this is like from the 80s, I guess. It was 1980s and 90s. And so it was kind of he had his own show. And my very first job was doing voiceovers for him, just to air on the radio. And I was a kid. I was like, I don't know. This is my first job. I think I was like 9 or 10. And I was very lucky to do that. So that was my first job. But my real first job was working for a school, and I was called a copy person, like making copies on a copy machine.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like back in the days, my school had one of those that had to put alcohol in it and then turn like this.
Oh,
That's
well, not quite that, but yes, the same effect.
okay.
But it was a copy machine. It was a huge machine, and I would have to make thousands of copies and then trifold, fold them and stuff them in envelopes. I mean, thousands. That was my job, and that was my first experience with a school outside of being a student myself, which is interesting because flash forward many years later, I got my master's in education and I was a teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's I don't like. I tried to be a teacher once. It takes a very specific set of skills, and I would say, at least for me, the patience is one of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I congratulate you.
Yeah, thank you. It was one of the most beautiful times of my life. It was very, yes, extremely challenging. I worked with preschool and kindergarten. I also worked with in an elementary school. I worked kindergarten through fifth grade. So I dealt with a lot. And everybody was sick all the time, just sniffling and coughing on me. So it was a time that I had strep throat, and it was just very, very, very ill. Probably every 2 weeks I had some very massive cold.
But I mean, aren't you supposed to have a stronger immune system because of that? I would assume so, right?
You would think. And my immune system wasn't strong enough at that point. Also, I was very stressed. So when you're a stressed human at the same time as you're around sickness, it's just easier for it to break the barrier of immunity, I would imagine. Because now I rarely get sick. I'm way less stressed and have better, healthier footing in my life. Back then, I was going through a lot of personal stuff, and just the job itself was high stress.
So, what is about stress that makes you get sicker faster?
Because your body is so wound up that all the cells of your being are just listening to that. And so there's too much to accommodate in your body to just keep yourself even keel. Now everything in your body is telling yourself that, we're in a fight or flight situation. It's like going to war, or like being faced with a bear in the woods. Your emotions are heightened. Your body is your energy is tightly wound, and you're in survival mode. And when you are in that mode, you are just open to all kinds of things, to disturbing, unregulated emotions, or dysregulated rather, and you're just more susceptible to illness.
Damn. I had a martial artist instructor that once told me, Bruno, if you're sick, what you need to do is come to class and exercise. It's gonna improve everything. That's exactly what you need to do. I was like, are you sure? And I was like, I had something like, I have doubts about it. I think he just wants to have more students coming to class, and I hate it. I went there, I did the class. I had the worst time of my life. I never did it again. And to this day, I think he was bullshitting me. Do you think there's any truth to that?
No, you know what? You have very good instinct. That
Mm,
was, you're spot on. It sounds like, and I understand you're thinking about it. You're like, huh?
yeah.
Because when someone tells you something that's like an untruth or, whatever it is, we always should listen to our gut anyway. I'm glad you did. You went and then you said, nope. But no, that's not true at all because we want to go the opposite way. I understand exercise is important, but we can also exacerbate our stress and push up against it and make it way worse if we are exercising. We're it's like we're creating, I mean, imagine, just think about it in general. Your heart rate is up. We want our heart rate to be down. We want to calm down our body, our minds. Everything needs to go to a relax mode when you're sick so we can allow ourselves to heal. That doesn't mean you have to just lay in bed and do nothing, but you certainly do not need to do any form of kicking and punching and running around and fighting people. No.
How it is in the US when you get sick? For example, you used to teach at a school. You would get sick often. Would the principal tell you, no, Samantha, you need to come in? Like the kids need you. Like what? How is the culture in the US for sick leaves?
Yeah. Good question. So I'm trying to think back. I worked at various schools, so it was different environments, but also in a blanket statement, kind of the same thing. Um, they don't want you coming if you're extremely sick because they don't want other people to get sick. At the same time, they don't want you to not come because they need you. But it also depended because I was a hired teacher for a couple of the teaching jobs I had. And then the other teaching jobs I had, I was a substitute teacher. So if I'm subbing for the regular teacher and I'm sick, that's going to be a problem. I'm like, peace, I'm out. And then they have to get a sub for the sub. Like that's kind of messed up. So I think I would just, but that was also a different situation because when I wasn't in a contracted job and I was subbing, they would call me the morning of or the night before, I think it was. It was really right before the day. And they would say, we need you today. And you could say yes or no. And then they would move down their list to ask other subs. And sometimes it was just for the day. Sometimes it was for a few days. Sometimes it was like a few weeks of a gig. But I was also working another job while I was subbing.
Oh my
So
God.
this is when I was working like 70 to 80 hours a week and killing myself. And so the stress was on. It was high, but I was younger. I guess it was a time that even though I was really burning the candles at both ends, I was more able to do that. I mean, I think about that now, and just the thought alone makes me feel queasy.
Really? Wow.
I don't think I could pull that kind of work now in my life where I am now. No, that wouldn't align at all.
Man, my grandma would love you. She always says, "Oh, a quiet mind is the mind of the devil." I was like, "What are you talking about, grandma?" So her whole mantra, his own mindset is like, you need to keep doing stuff, otherwise you're gonna be influenced by the bad people. You need to go to the swimming class, then you need to learn how to play the guitar, and then you need to see your friends, because if you're not doing anything, you're gonna end up doing bad things. Now I look back, I'm an adult now. I think, what she's talking about. And turns out she was diagnosed with ADHD later on in life. So now it makes sense.
Okay.
But I gonna be honest, it's quite of a schedule that you had there. And
Yeah.
and what made you decide to not pursue anymore? I mean, I would assume burnout, right?
Yeah, that's the word. You're exactly right. It was burnout. I mean, here's what happens to us, and what happened to me personally is, we put our head down, we do what we think we have to do, right? And then we're also we feel like we have to play this role, and we're hired, there's pressure, and we kind of just get comfortable with the pressure, but it's like a weird comfortability in the discomfort, if that makes sense. We just think that this is what it is, this is how it is, this is what it's supposed to be, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I think it really depends on your awareness in your situation. Some people aren't aware, like, this isn't sustainable. I shouldn't live this way. Life doesn't have to look like this for me. I think once I started to have a little more awareness, like, I can still make money and be okay and still have a decent amount of stress, because work is stressful, oftentimes, but I don't have to live like this at this capacity. I can still be busy, but I don't need to kill myself over it. And I kind of just had to pick a road, and I closed the door on teaching. I mean, I cried, to be honest. I cried my last teaching day. I was looking around my classroom and I cried because I knew I wasn't coming back. I knew it. I knew it instinctually. I knew in my heart I wasn't coming back to this type of work, to this level of service in this maxed out, stressed out capacity. Something in me was like, this is it. This is my final day teaching kids in this way. And now I teach in a different way with life coaching, but it is night and day in comparison with I don't have nearly the amount of stress that I do, with this type of job. It's not even a job. It's a true joy and pleasure to do what I do, as was teaching, because I was very passionate about it and I love it. But in general, I just love teaching. And so sometimes we need to know or think in a different way. How can I do what I love to do? But if it's not sustainable this way, how can I shift it and morph it into something else where I'm still doing somewhat of what I want to do, but in a different way that doesn't, create and keep such high level stress, and like we're not meant to function at that. Like we shouldn't be functioning at a level where every day we go to work and we feel like we're being chased by a bear.
Yeah.
Or be sick while being chased by a bear. That's not it. That ain't it. That's not life.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I just thought about Michael J. Fox, this actor. He used to. You heard about him. He used to also work like that. His work ethics were also like, I can't sleep when I'm dead. I just gonna work all the day, all the time. And apparently, he was filming Back to the Future during the day, and then the night he was doing his sitcom, and then he's going home, sleeping for 2 hours, and then repeating the next day. And I think he did that throughout the whole movie, and luckily became a hit. But after that, I think he never did it again. It's just not sustainable.
It's not. And now he has a disease, Parkinson's, and that doesn't happen to everybody, that it manifests into some type of illness, but for a lot of people it does. It might come out mentally. You could have some disturbance or disruption mentally. You could have some kind of disorder, or definitely a dysregulated system, whether you label it or not, or whether you're even aware that you have something or not that's working against you. But humans aren't meant to have that type of heightened stress. It's not good for us. So I'm just glad I found ways to maneuver myself, and I've always tried to, I got better at it because I wasn't always good at intuition. I'm still working on it, but there were moments where my intuition was so bad, it really caused serious problems for me and woke me up. And now I'm out of that, and I'm kind of in something where I know how to listen to my gut better. And I mean, instinct is everything. And that's the thing, is we bypass what, I don't know if your grandma's living still. She is. Okay, wonderful. My grandparents are not. But I mean, I have messages and I have signs. We all do, of people that are past and on the other side that, with our instinct paired with messages from the other side. There's so many signs out there that are trying to help us shape shift and guide our lives where we should go, that's going to be healthier and safer.
All right, so you lost me there. I'm sorry. Let me see if I get that straight. You nowadays you try to combine your instincts, you try to listen to your gut, that plus the signs from the people who died. How'd you do that? I'm very curious.
Yes. So we all have psychic capabilities and we don't often attune to them. And we think that only people that coin themselves as psychics are the psychics. But you're psychic. Maybe you haven't, tapped in to the intuitions or listened to the signs, but they're all out there. And if we practice, if we learn, we can be aware. But despite that, that's somebody's prerogative. That's your choice. If that's something that sparks for you, if that's an interest to you, and it's not everyone's interest. For me, it is. But first, being human, forget the other side and angels and guides and all that. The very first tool to use that we all have, every single one of us, is our intuition. And that is such a huge part of how we should listen to our bodies, listen to where our minds are, listen to the choices that we're making, because your instinct, your gut is going to tell you. You're going to have a burning sensation in your stomach, in your gut, if you're thinking something and you're pondering, should I do this? Should I do that? But something feels off. That off feeling is telling you no, that's your instinct. But if it's a green flag where it's all systems go, like, yes, this is a good decision, you won't have a bad feeling about it. You'll feel good. And that's the difference. But it takes a while to practice getting to know our own instinct, because it's not, you don't open a book and it's like, there's the rules. It's just getting to know your body, getting to know yourself, and then awakening further to the signs and practicing.
Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna get some water.
Yes.
I'm very thirsty. 1 second. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
And we'll be right back.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. If you'd like, I can give you an example, a great example of intuition.
Oh yeah, please.
Okay. Because I just thought about this. So when I was in my early 20s and I was living in Oregon and I was going to college there, I was going to meet a girlfriend for lunch, and the restaurant was only 5 minutes from my house where I was living at the time. And I said to myself, oh, I don't need to, your screen froze. Can you see me?
Oh my God, what's happening? Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, okay. I don't know why your screen froze.
I'm sorry. Let me try to. Guys, let's go on a short break. second. All right, guys, we're gonna have to change the camera here real quick, and we're gonna use this one. There you go. We have a new view for the show, everyone. So we're back. All right, Simon. So you're telling us a very good example of intuition.
Yes. So I was driving over to meet my friend, and on the way, in my mind, in my silly little early 20s schoolgirl mind, I said, I don't need to put my seatbelt on. It's just right up the street. So I'm thinking, I don't need to put my seatbelt on, and I don't. And I have a very good instinct, like a feeling in my gut, like I shouldn't do that, but I didn't listen. And then I am crossing a different way than I usually go. And instead of going to the stop light, I went to a 4-way stop sign, and I thought I could go. And I got into a huge accident. So much so that I woke up, I was blacked out. My head hit the window next to me on the driver's side, and also hit my steering wheel because I didn't listen to my gut and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. And the second time I wasn't listening to my gut, my very, very loud gut, my very loud instinct was telling me, don't go this way. Don't go this way. Like, don't go to the 4-way stop. Go to your usual route of the stoplight. Didn't listen. 2 times on my way to a very short distance. I woke up in the hospital, in the ER, 2.5 hours later. I was completely blacked out. The only memory I have was with my head in my hands like this, sitting on a curb on a street corner somewhere. I don't remember walking there, and I don't remember anything after. I mean, I was taken in an ambulance to the ER, but that was one of the worst car accidents I've ever been in. And I was okay, except for some head trauma. I mean, I can laugh about it now, right? But this is a very good example of intuition because I had very strong intuition speaking to me, like a voice in my head that wasn't a whisper. It was yelling at me, put your seatbelt on. And then the second one was even louder. Don't go this way. Don't go this way. And I always remember this as a huge turning point for me with my instinct. And since then, I've always tried to listen to my instinct better. Not just when I'm in the car, but for anything in life, like in a conversation with someone, when you're kind of wondering, should I tell this person this thing? It might hurt their feelings, or should I not? And then you have to, what's your gut saying? Is your gut like, all systems go, I feel good about this, it'll feel good to tell them this thing, or no? So, and so many of us don't do that. It's sad that I had to have a major accident to tap into my intuition more and deeper. But at the same time, it was such a good lesson for me and huge growth.
Yeah, I mean, you survived things. I mean, you put a seatbelt to start with. That was intuition talking to you, right? Yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think made you ignore the other part? Don't go that way.
Just pure stupidity.
No.
I mean, I was 21, maybe 22. And I'm not saying that all 21 and 22-year-olds are idiots. But in that moment, I didn't listen. I didn't listen to my inner knowing that knew way better than I did. You know, something out there was trying to save me from this bad moment, this bad event that was about to happen. And you can always do one of two things. You can listen or not listen, and who knows what's going to happen. I'm not saying you're going to get in an accident if you don't listen, but this was just my experience. But there's so many moments where we have choices all day long, And if you allow your intuition to develop further and you make friends with it, it can serve you so well in life. Like all the little things, like even, going to the grocery store. Do I have enough money to pay for this? No, I really shouldn't do it. Like little things, big things. So anyway, that's where something I've really paired with and made friends with is intuition for sure.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I do believe it's important. What you said earlier, like how you feel afterwards. I totally agree with that. There has been so many cases that I overshared something or I did something, and the feeling after the thing told me everything that I had to know about. It's like, damn, I should have not. I should not. I should have. How do you say it? I should not have had talked with this person about such thing, and like you just feel bad afterwards. So that's the intuition talking.
Yeah,
Amazing.
absolutely. And it is a feeling.
Yeah.
We don't pay attention to our feelings. We dismiss our feelings, and our feelings are like such great markers and signs to help guide us along our way of everyday life. And we just bypass it. We're like, whatever. Like I did. I bypassed it, and then I literally knocked sense into me.
It's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have to laugh about it now because it was so not funny then. I had a group of friends that had to stay up with me all night because I had a concussion, and the doctors were like, do not go to sleep. You can't go to sleep with a concussion.
Life is connected to all of that. I don't want to dismiss it though.
I think the afterlife plays a massive role in everything that we do. And I think the closest that we can come to it, there's two ways. The closest you can come to it is using your instinct as much and as often as possible. And then also practicing some type of awareness to pay attention to the signs that our loved ones and our guides leave for us, because everybody has angels that are looking out for them. Most of the people I know believe in this stuff. Some people don't, and that's fine too. But I really believe in it. And I believe in it because I've seen it. I know I've gotten so many signs of things that there's just no way that these things would have happened, or just what we think is coincidence is really synchronicity. We think like, oh, that's just a coincidence that happened. And it's our mind playing tricks on us and saying, no, that wouldn't happen to me. But we forget how powerful we are and how connected we are. The people that are naysayers are often the ones that are more disconnected with spirituality. And again, that's fine. Everyone has a choice how deep they want to go into spiritual practice or connection to the other side. But for me, I have so many past loved ones, so many, humans and pets. And so it's like a comfort to know that there are energies that you can't see, it's the unseen, that are rooting for you. Because that's what it is, they're rooting for you. It's like your cheerleaders on the other side, and they want you to do well. They're all love. Everything is love. Even if you argued with that person that you knew that passed, but they were a friend or a family member, that's gone. It's just all love over there. And so to be connected to that, to get signs from it, it's kind of also really cool. Well, not kind of, it's very cool to even just remember how small you are, and that, but in a good way, in the best way, that you're just a small being, or just a speck of dust, and we're living this existence that's so much greater than us. What that does, like living in that mindset, It helps us not feel like our problems are so big and that they're put under a microscope. It's good to have that kind of perspective, because we don't want to just, always be like this with our problems. We want to be like looking up like, okay, we all have problems, but I'm going to get through it because I have support. I have protection. I have guidance. It's not just me here. There's energies and angels and things that are there watching over me, helping me, and I am okay. I am well. I'm good.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I think it's fascinating. What I think, one of the reasons why I think that's very fascinating is because I personally don't know. I don't know if there's an afterlife. I don't know if my dead grandparents are alive and looking after me. I want to believe it though, and I don't know if it's true. Like when I'm in the toilet and I'm pooping, are they there? You know what I mean? I'm not joking though.
I
Those are
know.
things that creep me out. It's like, is someone here with me? I don't know. It'll be cool, right?
Oh my God. Okay, Bruno, thank you for saying this, because that is so real. That is so real. And I've thought the same thing myself.
Yeah.
You're the best. You're so cool. Okay, thank you for saying this. That is such an honest, true thing. I mean, I've had this conversation, this exact conversation. I asked this question to this world-renowned psychic medium that I had the pleasure of being on a podcast with. And I asked her about this, and I was like, do they see us? Do they know, what we're doing that like is a private thing, whatever it is, that it's nobody's business. But she said they don't pay attention to that. It's like not and I know it's very hard to take this information in and think about it, because you're like, well, they can see me, right? If they can just see me at any old time, then they're not picking the time that's like I'm asleep and looking angelic. It's like it could just be any time we're looking terrible, we're in a fight with someone. Yeah, I guess they can see all of it. But I think humans, we have this like judgment, and we have all these human qualities, like the weird ones and the negative ones, and the things that we would look at these things weird. But I don't think from the other side perspective, as far as I understand, I don't know for a fact either, but from what I've been told by someone who is extremely in touch with their psychic abilities since childhood, and who I respect and trust, she said it's just not something they think about or notice in the same way that we notice. Does that make sense?
Well, a little bit. A little bit.
I mean, you can believe what you want, of course. It's hard to believe because we are not that. We are humans with judgment and preconceived notions and expectations, and we have boundaries with where our mind can go, with how much we have flexibility into like what's real, what's reality. But that's in the eye of the beholder, right? Because your perspective is different than my perspective, and it's different than the guy down the street. We all have our views through our own life experience. You've walked in your own shoes and I've walked in mine. So we just have different knowledge behind it and different belief. None of it is wrong. None of it is bad or good. It's just whatever you feel or know to be true for you.
Assuming that it's true, I guess it kind of makes sense that they wouldn't pay attention to those things because they aren't physical matter anymore. Like what I mean, like they're not in the 3D realm anymore. At least that's my interpretation of it. So they themselves maybe don't need to poop. Themselves don't need to drink water. Those things. So, and if they're coming all the way back here to intervene in our lives, they're not coming to watch us in the toilet, they're coming with a mission, I would guess, like a noble mission to help us. So
Yes.
kind of makes sense that they would not pay attention to those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I like how you interpreted that very well, because I believe that too. Again, do we know for fact? No. I mean, we're still here on Earth in this body right now, but I believe it to be true exactly for the reason that you stated. They're not drinking. They're not pooping. They're not eating, as far as we know. I mean, unless it's a I don't know. I'm going to share with you, if I may.
Of course.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Hold on, I'm going to have to look it up because I have to tell you. Because I think if you haven't already seen it, that you would enjoy it. It's one of my favorite movies. Mel Brooks, Meryl Streep, and it has to do with the afterlife. And it's just so fun. It's like a lighthearted, hold on, I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. Afterlife. Oh no. Oh, yes, Defending Your Life. Thank you. Defending Your Life.
1991.
Yes. This is one of my favorite movies because they make it fun, and they so you're in Judgment City after you die, and you have a life review. So they review all the highlights and moments of your life, and they decide if you should go back to Earth or if you should continue on in the afterlife, okay? So that's in Judgment City. While they are guests in Judgment City, they can do anything they want. They can eat whatever they want. And so it just sparked my memory about this, because we're talking about all the human things that you get to do. But it's just so cute, and it's such a fun idea and thought, and who knows how it is. I've heard so many things about the afterlife. Like, you can go all the places you've wanted to go that you never got to go. Like, you can just travel everywhere you wanted to go. Food, I don't know about that, obviously. How would I know? But it's what I've heard. Food, I have no idea. But it just made me think of this movie. Like, what if you could just eat as much as you want? You don't gain weight. There's no side effect. You don't have indigestion. You don't feel bloated. We don't have to worry about gluten, organic, whatever. You just eat and enjoy yourself. Doesn't that sound fun?
Sounds amazing. Not gonna lie. There was period not long ago, I was hyper fixated on this YouTube channel of people. Oh man, I forgot the name of the YouTube channel, but it's all about people who died and came back. They got revived. They had near death experiences. And,
Yes.
and it's amazing. Everyone, like, I was trying to find a consensus, like something that they all had in common. And there was something they all had in common, is like everyone comes back and says, it was a bliss. I finally found peace. I'm not afraid of dying anymore. And that's it. So I was like, whoa, okay, there's something to it. I don't know what it is, but there's something. Well, one of the stories, though, that really like caught me, and I remember to this day, was this patient, this lady who died in the hospital. And I think it was more than one lady. Like, she went outside of her body. She saw the operating room, and then she went into the roof of the hospital, something like that. Her ghost, right? Her spirit. And she saw like a blue shoe on the roof while as a ghost. And turns out the doctor revived her, and she came back to life, and then she went back to her room, or her family was like happy of seeing her again. Everyone's glad that she survived. And later she's like, wait a minute, I was a ghost for a second there. Is there a blue shoe in the roof? She went to the roof, there was a blue shoe. I was like, what? I don't know if it's true, but it's a cool story. Hope.
It's a cool story for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe it. I want to believe it. There's just so many. So they call that NDE, near death experience. And there are many, there are thousands upon thousands of NDEs out there. It's like taking a survey or, trying to gather a statistic about something. It's when you have thousands upon thousands, I like that you're doing your own personal consensus over it, because that's how our human brains can wrap our minds around that type of reality, because we're not experiencing that reality. We're just trying to wrap our minds around it and believe or see if we believe it. It's hard to know when you don't experience something yourself. Of course, you're just going based off of other people that you don't even know. So I get it. I get there's so many skeptics about, on the whole of spirituality and our connection with the other side, and after we leave the earth, is there anything? It's a lot of people believe there's nothing. You go and then that's it, period. End of story. I just don't believe that. I believe there's more. I believe in reincarnation. I have family members who I believe have been reincarnated, because I see them in other form and they come to me. And that's just my experience and my belief. But there's moments that things have happened where it's like, okay, there's also just an inner knowing too. There's something where you don't have to have proof. It's like you just know. Everyone experiences that in their life, where it's like you don't have, there just isn't proof other than a feeling, and it's such a heightened, high frequency feeling. You just know. And someone might say, well, how'd you know that? And you say, I just do. Like, have you experienced that where you just know something, but you're not really sure how you know? It's just a feeling.
Oh, me personally, it happened once that you mentioned the voice, right? The very clear, high, loud voice in your head telling you something. I experienced that to a crazy degree once or twice in my life. The voice just yelling at me, and it really helped me. So, but that's about it. But I'm going back to intuition, right? I'm not. I'm when it comes to the afterlife and like spirits and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I wish I know there's a lot of stories that you just mentioned. There's thousands stories upon stories of people who experienced those things. I never did, unfortunately. I wish I did, because that would be cool again. So my grandma, I mentioned my grandma earlier, right? My grandma, what's the name of her religion? I think she is so she's from Brazil, and in Brazil there's this religion. It's about spiritism. I don't know how to say in English.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name.
There's this guy who wrote a book. I think his name is Allan Kardec.
Okay.
Have you heard about? I don't. So
I have not.
it's about spirits and the afterlife. So she's into that. She does believe that. So, but that's hers, right? I never ask her. Maybe she has some cool stories to share.
You should ask. You should ask for sure. I'm sure she has some very interesting insight and stories. I was actually going to ask if your grandma was religious, because from what you said previously, she sounds like a religious person.
Yeah. I think not anymore. She's very old now, but she used to a lot. Yeah.
My grandma, one of my grandmas, she wasn't very religious, but I remember her telling me in the car when I was a kid, and I was probably like 7, which is almost how old my own daughter is. So it's kind of a trip to think about this. But my sister and I were in the back seat. She was driving us. My sister's younger, so she's probably like 4, and I was like 7. And I guess I don't know if we were just high energy or out of sorts. We were really good kids. Especially with grandparents, we weren't crazy running all over the place. But there must have been a moment or something we said or did that she wanted to like control us. So as we're in the back seat of the car and she's driving, she tried to put some fear into our brains. And she said it in such an interesting way. I just remember being a kid, sitting in the back seat, and her saying, you know, if you're not a good person, if you're not a good kid, there's heaven and there's hell, and you know you'll go to hell if you're not a good person. And she was like trying to scare me, but it was kind of interesting because, I think it did. You know, I mean, I obviously remember this from so long ago. Uh, like instilling the fear of God in me, but she wasn't like a God-fearing woman. So it was interesting. She was Jewish, by the way. Jews don't necessarily believe in hell. So that was weird and interesting. But it wasn't even coming from religion at all. It was like more of a fear tactic in general, not religious, just to try to get us to be good kids and like shape up.
Okay.
But your grandma story was reminding me of my grandma and how she was trying to you know tell us that we need to be good or we're going to hell. That's
Wow.
nice.
I mean, when was that? When you were a kid? So yeah,
Yeah.
man, I have a lot. I have a lot of friends who are moms right now. Is you just give the iPads to the kids, they all shut up. They don't do it.
Well, that's a totally different way to do it. That's the modern age of what, yeah. I mean, that's definitely one way to get your kid to settle down. I try to stay away from giving my kids screen time as much as possible because their brains are growing. And for one, I mean, my kid and everybody I know, all the parents doing that, their brains turn to mush and they turn into little jerks after. Because when you try to take the TV away, like when you literally say, okay, you've had enough, time's up, and you want to turn off the TV, it's like crack. It's like
Wow.
an addiction. Because literally, it's sugar and it's screens are children's first addictions in life because they literally get mad about it. No, I was just in the middle of that. No, they get so mad.
I mean, it's kind of understandable, right? Right. Even adults, when they're watching their favorite TV show, like why you would change the channel? I think it's an understandable feeling. But the difference is when you're a kid, like you don't have a say. You know, you just should do what you're told. But it's understandable. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What I wanted to talk about earlier, if that's okay, is when you mentioned hell, I remember that I recently watched this documentary about some of those mega churches in the US, which they don't pay taxes, by the way. I think the whole thing of the documentary is like, they don't pay taxes, they need to pay taxes. I was like, I don't care about those taxes. Like, those guys, I don't want to say they're evil, but
You can say that.
can I say that? Like,
Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, yeah.
every sentence they say, if you don't pay us, I don't know. I don't remember this. I'm not evil, guys. So, but everything they do, everything they talk about is like how money will bring you salvation. I was like, really? And then you look at those mega churches; they look like shopping malls. Like, what is this? And it's a huge from what I got from the documentary. It's a huge thing in the U.S. and it's not controlled at all. There's Scientology.
Yeah.
There's more than Scientology. There are other ones as well.
They're basically cults.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, well, here's the thing, you know, you can go any which way with belief. Firstly, it could be how you're programmed as a child. Maybe you grew up going to a certain type of faith-based house of, you know, church, temple, wherever you went. But do you take it with you into your adulthood? And what is your belief system like? Some people go the opposite direction of how they were raised. They're like, oh God, I had to do that every Sunday and every Wednesday, and it was awful, and I hated it. And no, that's not for me. And they're like, they shut the door on it, and they're done. And then other people, it's just like it's their whole life. It's always been. It always will be. But the dangerous part, like you're talking about with the mega churches, is it goes beyond a beautiful belief of something greater than us, which is how I would choose to look at any religion. when it starts to get into the finite details of like money, I've been to church before where, you know, they're just passing around the baskets, and it's so gaudy, if you know that word. It like it's not cool. It's like you're in the middle of this sermon or ceremony or whatever you want to call it, where there's a pastor and there's a singer, and there's like a raising of a vibration of community. And to me, I don't care what religion you are, and I respect everybody for whatever they want to do. It's a personal choice. But when you take away the beauty of community and love, and like love thy neighbor, don't steal, like all those basic things, you know, how can you improve your life and be good to others? How do we service others? How do we, you know, self-love and serve ourselves so that we can love others? Like that kind of thing, right? They take it such a different route. As soon as they bring the money in, as soon as they bring those baskets out, it's like, it's disturbing because it's selfish, not selfless. And it's disgusting. They have, you know, Rolls Royces and fancy cars and fancy houses and probably private jets. They turn it into a completely different thing, and they brainwash people. And that's why I say that it's like a cult, because anybody that believes it so much that they talk about it now with their neighbors, and they're trying to get other people involved in it, and it's like a pyramid scheme almost, where you're trying to recruit other people to this thing. But it's not, when you're crushing the beauty of it through selfishness. Yeah, for sure, that's evil. For sure, it's taken it a completely different direction than what the sole purpose is. It becomes soulless. There's no soul in that, you know. That's just like dampening the beauty of it, and yeah, it's totally evil.
Yeah, need to text those guys. Text them.
Yeah, and how do they get out of that? I mean, that is just like, how do they get out? Anybody that's not taxed, but the rest of us are. I mean, that you're totally right on that, right on the money, right on the money.
Right on the money.
Yeah.
So apparently that's from Jordan Peterson. He said that we all have this God hole inside of us. We all need to believe in something higher than we are. And some people, we all do have this hole inside of us, and some people are not aware of it, so they try to fill it with other things like jobs or relationships or whatnot, and it can get unhealthy. So it's important to fill up your God hole with something healthy, like some type of spirituality, not necessarily a mega church cult. I'm not saying to do that, but apparently you all need to do that. And I tend to believe it's true. Like there's something so comforting to believe that there's, like, you're talking about something bigger than you are, right? The universe. Or I have this feeling when I walk into nature sometimes, or when I look at the night skies, like I feel small, but in a good way. And if I don't constantly remind myself of it, it seems that I don't want to say I spiral down, but let's say my mood starts to going slowly down. So I try to go. That's just me, right? I'm not saying that's the right way of living, but at least once every week or once every 2 weeks, I just go for a walk, like in a park, and this helps me so much, to have this sense of connection,
Yes.
with this bigger entity that is the life, the universe.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're spot on with that. That is the best place to connect, is taking a walk, slowing down, getting out of the hustle, giving yourself a break, giving yourself a different perspective. Nature is the best way to connect to yourself. And that's when, and if you are a spiritual person, that is where you can receive messages from your angels or from your higher self on things to be said or heard. That's where all our senses come online and come alive. It's the best thing you could do. I mean, a lot of people, I try to take a daily walk. I'm not able to do it every day, but just as much as you can. Being with the trees are so wise. They have a whole interconnected system that's like a whole other topic. But you're saying there's forest around you, to go into any of these places, and then you could take it even a step further, take off your shoes and let your feet feel the earth, grounding, earthing. That is such a great way to electrify all the cells in your being and connect even deeper. Whenever I have fake grass in my backyard, so I'm not able to ground or earth as much as possible, the way I'd like to, but I go to other people's houses, or if I'm at a park, I always try to be barefoot and connect in that way. But even if you can't take your shoes off somewhere, just being outside, like you say, noticing, I have dragonflies out lately, and amazing different species of butterflies passing through, migrating. It's very cool. And also I live in a city, so I don't get to see stars. I don't get to see as many stars as there are. So whenever I travel and I go to a place where I'm not in the city and it's dark, it's the best. So I really get to see the perspective of, I just went a few weeks ago to this magical place where I was on property on this land, no other houses around, nothing. Like, it was the end of a road, and the road led to where I was staying, and there was just nothing there but wild animals and dark sky. And that's the first time and the last time I've been able to see the sky like that. And it kind of like makes you remember who you are, why we're here. It's really cool to connect in that way. And a lot of us don't get the chance, when you live in a city, when you don't get to see that. But, most people I know have some trees around or some grass or something. Even just taking a walk, even if there's not, that much nature around, just being outside, fresh air. It's definitely soothing.
Yes, for sure. I'm a little bit sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say also, to your point about the hole that we all have. I just wanted to confirm with you. I completely agree and understand what you're saying, because it is true. It's like, how do you fill the void? And some people do it with eating, with food, and some, comfort food. And some people do it with addiction, smoking, cigarettes, drugs, alcohol. And some people do it, there's so many ways to fill a void. And some people do it in a healthy way and some people don't. And we do want to tap into our belief system, but we want to do it in as healthy way as possible, because we can really get carried away. And that's how these cults happen is, they kind of get you on something. It's like they find your weakness, right? They find your weak spot, which is so disturbing.
I think it's belonging. I think, from what I understand, we all need to feel that we belong to a group. And from what I understand, that's what they tap into. There's more, but that's the core one.
And that's so true. And that's why I was saying the word community.
Yeah.
Because it is a sense of belonging. Everyone on this planet wants to feel happy, safe, and connected. Those are the three things. And without it, we feel less of a person. We just don't, it doesn't feel good to be disconnected. But what I always say is connect to yourself first. So I love that you brought up your nature walks and being outdoors. That's so important because, as we get older, a lot of us tend to lose friends because they just don't align with us anymore, or we lose family members. As you get older, people pass on. And so we have like less people sometimes in our life, some of us. And, but that doesn't mean that you need to fill that void and get more friends or whatever. It's more just about knowing who you are through yourself. And once you have that, you're more confident and you're happy. Like you could have 1 or 2 friends and be happy. I wish more people would believe that, but it's true. Like if you're connected to yourself, you're more grateful, even if you don't have a lot of money, don't have a lot of friends, don't have a lot of family. There are ways that you can bring happiness in from, depending on your perspective, even the shortcomings or the little that you have. You don't need a lot to be happy or feel connected.
Yeah. Wonderful, beautiful. And I'm positive about it. I think we are going to be very much more connected in the future. We are going to have those Neuralink chips implanted in our brains. We're all going to be talking to each other and connected to ourselves. I'm being sarcastic, of course.
I know. I'm just going to press a button on my palm and be like, I'm going to say, calling Brew. And then I'm like, hey, what's up? How have you been? You're on your 10,000th one episode. Good for you, buddy.
All right, Samantha. So, what a pleasure. Thank you so much for this amazing conversation. I'd like to ask you if you have any final remarks and if you'd like to share any of your links. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bruno. I don't really have any final thoughts to say other than this was a real pleasure to chat with you. You're a cool dude. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you very much. If you want to connect with me, I'm on my website is www.rootswingswellness.com. Roots Wings Wellness. I'm a holistic life coach, conscious guide, and I love supporting people in their well-being journey. My social media is at Roots Wings Wellness.
Perfect. Samantha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, to participate in our... It's tomorrow. The giveaway is tomorrow, everyone. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If it's your first time watching the show, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rank the show 5 stars. This will ensure that the podcast is recommended to even more people and allow me to keep doing what I love. Check out now the Brewcast store, Explore store, filled with awesome goodies from hoodies to t-shirts to mugs. We've got you covered. Stay in style with Brewcast. Embrace the shock, set the trend. Buy now at brew-cast.com/store. Again, that's brew-cast.com/store. Link on the description below. Be a Brewcast model and get free stuff. We'd love to see how you and your loved ones enjoy Brewcast. Snap a picture of yourself, your family, your friends, or even your pets wearing Brewcast merch, or watching an episode of the show, and send it to us and become part of Brewcast. We'll feature you in your pictures at the end of every episode, just like the ones you're seeing on the screen right now. You can upload your pictures at brew-cast.com/contact or tag us on social media. Alright everyone, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye bye.